Summer has always been my favorite season. The feel of the sun on my skin, the long days and warm nights, endless hours spent on the water, the feeling of pure freedom. Fall comes in unwelcome with a slight morning chill and a sun that sets way before I'm ready to go inside. Soon I reluctantly put away my kayak, fold up my shorts and stow them away in an inconvenient drawer, not to be seen for many months. As I begin to wonder what I will do with my time, the chill surprisingly becomes a bit refreshing. The trees begin to enchant me with the deep, rich reds, vibrant golds and oranges that only look that magical when nature does it. And I find myself seduced again by fall. The sweats come out, I start too many crochet projects, and the soup on the stove fills the house with whatever cozy smells like. I learn once again that it's the change that fills up a life. It's the contrast. The hot summer makes fall more precious. The turning leaves enhance the memories of life on the water. And I'm again reminded that in this life, the only constant is change. And I am grateful for it. Looking around at my house, you might be thinking to yourself, Kimberly, you just moved to the place in Central Oregon in the spring, but your house looks like you're packing up to move again, but that can't be the case because you just moved. But you know what? You would be right. Yes, I am packing to move, and I'll tell you what, I'm kind of miserable about it. I'm not in the mood. I'm not ready yet. It seems a little abrupt. I didn't have much notice, all the things. You know, sometimes when you're just not in the mood for something, that's what's going on here. But I promise you, I can explain. A few weeks back, I was sitting around the house minding my own business when I got an email from the property management company that manages the rental that I'm in here. And the email said the owners would like to sell the house. Well, that was an interesting turn of events. And I knew it wasn't a big drama thing because I had a lease. You know, I had a lease and the lease goes through next spring, a year lease. And I was pretty much confident that by then I would have found, you know, kind of the place I wanted to be and live. I knew the West Coast was it. I wasn't sure the town I was in was it, but, you know, I had some time and I was having fun and decorating the house and doing all the neat things. Well, part of that email was an offer from the owners, and it was a very generous offer. And it comes under the category of cash for keys. And this is kind of what owners do when they have someone leasing their property and they want them to get the heck out so they can either sell it or move into it or do something else. So I looked at the offer and it was a good offer. You know, it was favorable for me, but part of the agreement was I had to be out of the house in 30 days. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way that's going to happen. I'm not going to do that. And then that night, I started thinking about it. We're talking about boobs today. I bet you have them too. I am so excited to again be working with Comfeely for this portion of the video. Thank you, Comfeely, for sponsoring this part of the video. I love this company. I love this company. I love this company. And I'm going to tell you a story. I recently had something called a ladies' night out here where I live in Central Oregon. It was at Suzanne's little vintage shop downtown in Redmond, Oregon. Swan Song Vintage. We had ladies come. We had a big party. It was so fun. So I'm there and I'm talking to this one gal and she says, you know what? I ordered one of those Comfili bras. And I went back and ordered 3 more after it came in because that's how good they are. They're so very good. And here's the kicker, you guys. They are so good for our age. I mean, the young girls, I mean, do they even need that great of a bra? When you get older, you really, really need a good bra because things just aren't where they used to be anymore. I have been wearing my Comfili bras exclusively since I got them. They are so comfortable. So comfortable. Did I mention comfortable? They are so comfortable. They are wireless. I'm not doing wires anymore. It's not happening. It's not happening. This is wireless. They're wireless and seamless, and they are so comfortable. Did I mention comfortable? I have 3 of their bras today, the best sellers, that I'm going to show you. And what I want to do is I want to point out why they're so doggone good. It is harder when you're older and you don't have that same profile that you did when you were younger. It is harder to find a bra that will not only hold the girls up, but keep the girls in place in a comfortable way. I have suffered through wired bras. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just too doggone old. It's just not going to happen. So I have some bras today that I want to show you. Now, one of the things I want to point out to begin with and why these keep so nicely is they are 43% spandex. That's 43% high spandex. The average in the industry is about 15%. So I can tell you, I've been wearing mine nonstop. They wash up beautifully. And what I do is I put them in the washer on a gentle cycle and then I hang them up to dry. And they stay absolutely beautiful. Part of it is the construction and part of it is that 43% high spandex, which makes them not only comfortable and buttery soft and super, super, super stretchy in all different directions. They are just really so good. Another reason that I love them so much, and I have been struggling to find something I don't like about them, and I just can't. If someone was to sit down and say, I'm going to design a bra for more mature women, this is exactly the kind of bra that they would design. So one of the things I love is that they have this higher area here, and I think they call these side wings in bra speak. I don't know. But it keeps that little cookie, you know, that little fat pad that will stick out. It keeps it down. And you can see I don't have one because I've got my Comfili bra on right now. So it really does hold all the area, not just the breast area, but the skin area in. So higher wings, nice wide side panels, nice wide hooks in the back. And they all come with an extender because not all women are built the same. And some women need a little bit more around the rib cage area than they do in the breast area. Super wonderful construction. The shoulder straps are so cushy and so lovely. They're just beautiful. So this is one of the best-selling styles. I wonder if they have the name on it here. Let me see. I'm not seeing the name of this style. I'm sure it's there. I probably can't read it. I'll have all of these listed down in the description box below. I also have a code, so make sure you use that as well. So this is one of the styles. They have many, many styles, but here's one thing that I personally want to point out to you. They don't talk about it as much as I think they should. Look at this wide band at the bottom. This is consistent in all their styles, at least the ones that I've tried. One of the issues that I have had as I've grown older is that my boobs have started participating in undermining me by trying to crawl out the bottom of my bra. I call it the drift, the drift. And I literally have, during the day, stuck my hand in my bra, not these bras, but other bras, to lift the girls back into place so they'll stop trying to crawl out the bottom of my bra. And I've had it where I'm wearing an underwire bra and my breast is like sneaking out of that. It's so uncomfortable. I don't like it a bit. That does not happen with these bras. No more drift, ladies, no more drift. So here's one of their beautiful styles. These are not my underwear. These are bras that they sent me to show you, so you're not looking at my underwear. So here's one of the styles. Here's another one of the styles. Isn't this pretty? It has this really pretty little trim here, two-toned, and then look at the nice wide back on this. Isn't that wonderful? Nothing cuts into you. Everything fits really, really nicely. Again, they wash up beautifully. They're just absolutely lovely. Now they do have a pad in them, but it has an area that you can remove it if you want to. I actually have left mine in. I generally will take those out the minute I get a bra because I don't like them. They crunch up, they end up looking yucky. These have stayed really, really nice. And this is a bra. This is one of my favorite styles from them. You know how you kind of get your favorites, like your favorite burner on the stove? This is my favorite. It still fits just as comfortably and holds the girls up just as nicely. So the last one, and I want to show you how nicely they come packaged. Truly, this is a really, really good company. It's so nice to find good companies these days. But I want to show you how cute it is when you get it. Look at this. Isn't this adorable? So this is how it comes packaged. And you open it up. And what I just found out is they keep the cups in place with this little cup thingy right here. And then here is the extender. All the bras come with these extenders. And this is, so here's the little plastic thing right there. So this is the other style. So here is the other style. They have a lot of really beautiful styles over on the website. I'll have the website linked down below. Another thing I want to point out is they are so lightweight. It doesn't feel like you've got this glumpy thing on your chest. They just feel so part of your body and so comfortable and so stretchy and so wonderful. I really cannot say enough about these bras. I just really, really love them. So if you're looking for a comfortable bra that's going to eliminate those little fat pads and cookies in the front and in the back, that feels lovely and avoids the drift, you might want to give the Comfili line a try. They truly are that good. Wireless, seamless, 43% high spandex, making it super, super comfortable. All clean, safe ingredients that's been certified. Thank you, Comfili, for making a fabulous bra for us more mature women and for sponsoring this portion of the video. If you decide to give them a try, I think you're going to love them. I looked at the offer and I thought about my choices, and something came up in my mind. At that time that email came in, I had gone totally down the rabbit hole of tiny houses. Truly, ask me anything about tiny houses and I know what the answer is. I was just fascinated with the whole concept of tiny houses. I didn't think it was something that I could do long term, like maybe a year, 2 years. And I thought it would be fun. So I started thinking about I could get a tiny house and live in a tiny house for a year or two and have a whole lot of fun and show you guys a tiny house and talk about what it's like to live in a tiny house. It just started to seem like a really fun thing. So I got back to the management company, the property management company, and I said, you know what? I'll take that offer. So that meant that I needed to get my house packed up, find someplace else to live, and get it all arranged in 30 days. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to find a tiny house in 30 days because I knew what I wanted in a tiny house, and finding specifics for a tiny house was, it's a little bit of a challenge. But what I did is I had been looking at a really beautiful tiny house community on the coast in very, very northern California. And I contacted the owner, and he had a little cottage on the property of that tiny house community that he was willing to rent to me for the winter months. So I would have time to get a tiny house, move out of this place, get it all set up, and yada yada. I mean, I ran around and did a lot of work. So I went down and looked at the little tiny house community. It's in a town called Haielle, which is not very far from Crescent City. It is so gorgeous there. So gorgeous there. So gorgeous. I actually stayed 2 extra days because it was so stinking beautiful. I just didn't want to leave. So I got home from my trip up to the tiny house community, and I was looking at tiny houses and thinking about tiny houses and the whole thing. And I thought, oh my gosh, that would be so much fun for a year or two. Now, keep in mind that with a tiny house, it's not just buying the house. You have to get a place to put the house, which is harder than you would think. But I think I had a spot in this community, and you have to have it moved there, which means that you have to find someone that has a tractor trailer that can hook up the house, and then you have to get those little cars front and back for the wide load because I wanted a wider tiny house. It's a whole thing. I mean, it's a whole thing. And I was looking at all of this and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can handle it. It's going to be a lot of work, but I can handle it. So I got home from visiting the little tiny house community up in Northern California. It's so beautiful. Did I mention it was beautiful? So beautiful. And I checked my email when I get home, and the owners of this property canceled the deal. So I had started packing up the house. I had arranged for lodging, the little cottage on the property of the tiny house community. I'd run around and done all this work, and they said, oh, never mind. And I'll tell you, it was surprising to me. I mean, I was really kind of set back by that. What did I do? I didn't do anything. And, in my younger days, I would have said, now wait just one doggone minute here, and kind of kicked up a fuss and said, we had an agreement, even though we hadn't signed a contract, but it was a written agreement. It was an email and that sort of thing. But I decided just to let it go. And to be honest with you, I think it has more to do with age than anything. And you might feel the same way. There are just some battles that aren't worth fighting. They're just not. And I decided to just shrug and walk away. I just didn't even want to get into any kind of contentious situation. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want any of that. I want to have a peaceful, pleasant life. One of the concessions they did offer when they rescinded their offer was that I could terminate the lease at any time with 30 days notice. After they killed the deal, I sat around and thought about it for a little while, and I thought about the whole tiny house thing, and I thought about, is that something I really want to do? And here's what I was thinking. I was thinking I would do the tiny house for a year or two, have a lot of fun, a lot of work to put it all together, and then I would probably buy a property, which is, the goal of mine, the end goal of mine, and move the tiny house onto the property and use it as a guest house, or maybe even an art studio, or maybe my daughter and her husband would want to live in it if I had a big piece of property while they built a house or something. I don't know. I just thought it would come in handy. But ultimately, what it came down to was I feel like I'm ready to kind of settle down. And I know you guys are rolling your eyes right now because, think she's never going to settle down. I don't know. Maybe I will. So I took that kind of settling down feeling and I thought about it. I have been pretty much traveling, either traveling out of the country or traveling to different states and moving here and there for, I think it's almost 10 years now. It's getting close to 10 years. And I can tell you how I felt about it. And I'll use an analogy. And for those of you who have children, you'll understand this. You know how when your kids were somewhere, like they were at a sleepover or a party or something like that, and they call and say, "Mom, don't come pick me up yet. I'm having fun. Don't come pick me up." That's what I felt like for like the last almost 10 years. Don't come pick me up. Don't come pick me up. I'm having fun. I'm having fun because I was having so much fun, seeing places, doing things, meeting new people, having new experiences. And I think it was such a joy and such a gift because when my daughters had the audacity to grow up and leave home, it was hard for me, really, really hard for me. And I went through a number of months wondering, what the heck am I going to do with my time and my life? I loved being a mom to young kids. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And not having someone to care for, to cook for, or to go pick up, or to drive somewhere, or just that whole mothering thing, it really hit me hard. But what I finally came up with is, Kimberly, you might as well take advantage of this time and see some things, because I'd always wanted to see things. And oh my gosh, these last several years have been so very fun. So fun, so fun, so fun. I have lived in Incline Village at Lake Tahoe. I have lived up in the Mendocino Coast area of Northern California. I have lived in Portland. I have lived in Whitefish, Montana. I traveled out of the country for over a year, and I was in Tulum, Mexico, and then I was in Ecuador, and then I was in San Miguel de Allende, and then I was, back into the States, and I lived in Reno, and then I moved to South Carolina, and then I moved to Florida, and now I'm here in Central Oregon. And every single part of this whole journey has really been fun. It doesn't mean that every day was perfect, or there wasn't times where it felt frustrating, or I didn't know what to do, or I didn't know where to go, or I was lost, or this and that. But all in all, I did what it was I wanted to do, which was see things. When I was younger, I have a brother, he's a real brainiac, and he and I were talking, and he said, "I want to know everything in this life. I want to know everything." He's a real brainiac person. And I said to him, "I want to see everything. I want to see everything." And I feel like I've seen a lot. I've been to Europe a few times. I've gone to school in Italy. I've lived in Florence for a couple of months. I've been to France. I've been to Amsterdam. I've been around. I've been to Japan several times. My brother lives in Japan, so I visited there. I've seen a lot of things and done a lot of things. But you know what? I'm ready to be picked up. So I put aside the thought of a tiny home. I just, in the end, thought it was a whole lot of work for a year or two. And maybe at this point in my life, I don't need that kind of work. And what I did is I thought, where is it that you would go? Like, where is it that you want to be? And in the back of my mind during all these years of travel, it was always my intention to buy a little piece of property and to have a garden and some chickens, and that just would become my life. I'd spend the day in the garden and tend to the chickens and get to know my neighbors and just have a very, very peaceful, pleasant life. And I've decided, I'm going to skip everything in between and go right for that. As you can see, my closet is suffering from the oh my God, we're moving blues. It's crazy because I have been throwing everything in here because I'm selling all kinds of furniture out there. So this has been the dumping grounds. But today I got to get this cleaned up and packed up. I'm going to be in this place, gosh, for another few weeks. But then like a week in the middle, I'm going to be at my new place. So I've got to get the clothes organized. This is what I want to do. I really condensed my clothes down when I left Florida. You guys know that. I drove across the country. I did ship some boxes, but everything else came in my car with me and my daughter and Lucy. So today I want to narrow down my clothes even more because I have a walk-in closet in this house. And in my next place, I've got like 2.5 feet of hanging space. I'm not kidding you. Did I mention it's tiny? It's tiny. It's really tiny. So I'm going to pack up the summer clothes. I've already packed up some of it and it's already in the new place. So I'm going to pack up the summer clothes. Those are going to get shipped. Then I'm going to pack up the winter clothes and they're going to get maybe shipped. Maybe some are going to go with me in the car, but it's time to purge the closet. That's today's mission. Wish me luck. So I store my jeans on this little hanging rack. I think it's a belt rack. Is it a belt rack or a purse rack or some kind of rack? Anyway, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 12 little hooks that I hang my jeans on. So they're all hanging there. And in the summer, what I do is I put the long ones in the back and then more of the capri ones in the front because I usually wear shorter jeans in the summer. Look at this mess. You guys are seeing this unfiltered. Anywho, I think I have 12 pairs of jeans on this hook. I wear 2. So first thing is I've got to go through all these jeans and try them on and decide what I'm going to keep because there's no sense me storing jeans that I never wear. And then also I want to show you this is the kind of stuff, I think we all do it. Look at, they're all dusty. These are boots. They're kind of like the engineer boots sort of thing. I bought these when I turned 61. It was kind of like a little, I don't know, defiant thing. Like I'm not old yet. I'm going to get these kind of cool boots. That was like 8 years ago. I've worn them maybe 4 times. So clearly they need to move along. All right, all done with the pants. It didn't take that long. These are the pants that are going bye-bye. They're going to get donated. They either don't fit or they would fit if I lose 4 pounds, and I'm not playing that game, keeping them until I lose the 4 pounds or whatever. So these ones are going to go to probably Goodwill or Vinnie's, something like that. And then these pants are the ones that I'm going to keep. They fit, I like them, the whole thing. I just am not keeping things that I don't love anymore because I've done that for, almost 69 years now. I don't want to do it anymore. So they're going to get broken up into ones that I'm going to ship that I'll unpack after I get to my new place, and then ones that are going to go in the suitcase with me when I leave for the final time. And then here is that rack that I keep them on. It looks like it's an over-the-door rack. I didn't even remember that part. I just hang it on, the clothing rack or the clothing, what do you call it? Whatever that bar is. And then I put my jeans on it. It's a really easy way to store jeans and they're easy to grab. I'll try to find it on Amazon. I'm sure that's where I got it and I'll try to link it below. So this is the disaster of my sweaters and t-shirts and pajamas and that sort of thing. I have just been throwing things in here, so it's really just quite a mess. And then over behind me, I grabbed a bunch of sweaters off the really top shelf and just threw them down here. So I'm going to be going through all my tops now and getting rid of the ones that I just don't absolutely love, and packing up most of the things I'm going to keep in order to ship them. So again, wish me luck. Oh my gosh. This is going to feel so good when I'm done. Alrighty, mission pretty much accomplished. That's clothes right there. So I pretty much got the closet all cleaned out. I think it took me maybe a little more than an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I did sit down for a little bit and answer some emails and try to break it up. I'll tell you, this was a grind. It was not fun. And I think it's just that I didn't have months to prepare for it. You know, it just came on me and now I got to do it. So I have everything pretty much boxed up that I'm going to ship. The clothes that I have in here are clothes I'm going to wear for the rest of the month. And I threw in just a few extra things just in case I wanted to wear a different shirt when I'm filming or something like that. I did decide to keep the shoe racks. I'm going to break them down and box them up and ship them because I figured out a way that I'm pretty sure I can use them in the new place and they'll be stinking handy and I'll be glad that I had them. So closet pretty much done. Now I got to get busy in the bedroom because someone's coming to pick up the dresser, the 2 nightstands, and the bed. And so it continues on. So where am I going? Well, that's kind of the funny part because the culmination of this is a nonviolent, long-standing battle that I didn't win. And that battle was trying to get my daughter, and now my daughter and son-in-law, to move out of California. And you know what? I lost the battle. I totally lost the battle. So I am acquiescing to their choice of states. And if they move, I'm telling you what, I'm going to go postal on them. I am moving back to California. And actually, I have rented a little place. And when I say little, I mean little. And I am going to move to that area and spend the time going to open houses, looking at properties, and hopefully I'm going to find that little place that's been in the back of my mind for years and years now. So I went down a little more than a week ago and got a little Airbnb and looked around. I was looking for a place to rent. I had already packed my car up with some things from the house. You know, I'd started packing when I made the deal with the landlords that they, decided they didn't want to do. And I was looking for a place in the Grass Valley, Nevada City area, which is in the foothills of the Sierras, about an hour and a half from the part of Lake Tahoe that I actually love. It's my favorite place to kayak on the entire planet that I have found, absolutely. So I ended up renting a little place, and I'll tell you more of that next time. Did I say little? I mean tiny. tiny, tiny, little tiny. And so that is where I am going next. And I'm spending the next few weeks packing up. It's brutal. I'm not in the mood. It hasn't been fun. It's almost too early. You know, after a year, I'm kind of like, okay, I can do it. But after 5 or 6 months, no, I'm not even close to being ready. But that's the journey that I'm on. And it feels different for some reason. It feels a little different. And you know what I think it is I have, over the course of my life, really kind of managed my situation. I made the decisions, I made the choices, I knew what I wanted, I would go after what I wanted. I was just kind of, always in charge, always in charge. And this time around, I'm kind of letting go a little bit. And I'm kind of just seeing what shows up in front of me, which for me is so different. And I don't know how it's going to work out. I really, really don't. Because instead of pushing and negotiating and this and that, I'm just seeing what comes next. And you know what? We'll find out together. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope I did not give you whiplash. You know, I was not looking forward to making this video because I thought, these poor ladies, they're going to lose their minds. They're going to get whiplash from me. But this is just reality. So I'm going to spend the next several days packing up more. I've got another trip down to the new place. I've already rented it. There's a few things in there already. If you come back next week, you can get a glimpse of the new little cottage. It's tiny. Did I mention it's tiny? It's little, tiny, tiny, tiny. I want to thank you so much for joining me. You guys know it just tickles me when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. I am going to be 69 in just a few weeks. And you know what? I'm kind of excited about it. How did you feel? If you've already turned 69, how was it for you? Alrighty, make it a great day. Come back and see me next week because I think we're going to be in the new place at least for a little bit. Take care. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.